You are now live. Woo. What is this? What is that? Odd. Okay. We are telling more followers to join your video. We can always do monologue. Hey, waves! Young. Hello? Can you hear me? I'm using my headphone thingies. I don't know if the sound is working. Oh, that sound is working. I guess I don't need to wear headphones because I'm not gonna listen to anything, am I? Although, does it have a mic in it? I don't even know. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me okay? Yes? No? You're the only person in my life, so you're the only person that can answer the question. Maybe not. Ow. Maybe we'll try this. Turn off Bluetooth. Disconnect. There we go. Let's try that. Guess I don't need to wear things. Wait, no, that came out wrong. I meant these things. I didn't mean all things. Wearing things is good. But I guess I don't need headphones. Okay, good. Audio's fine. Good. Woohoo! Very good. Where are you at? What time is it there? Wait. What are you doing? Oh, Pinterest, stop giving me notes. So, this has been the longest Sunday ever. Or I should say this has been the shortest Sunday ever. Hey, welcome. I started drinking coffee at probably about 4 p.m. That's how my day is going. Korea. 8 p.m. in Australia. 8 p.m. Okay, 1 hour behind. 9 p.m. in Korea. Why are you trying to stay awake and not go to sleep? But hey, here's some peoples. Here's some peoples. My soulmate, Bangtansoyeondan. Ria, welcome. Welcome to the party. My party with strawberry milk. Korea has the best flavored milks, I think. I mean, America doesn't really have flavored milks except for chocolate. But I found vanilla flavored milk recently. Man, it is so good. I love it. But the convenience store I went to didn't have it, so I got strawberry. So strawberry milk on ice makes it a latte. Aw, you're staying awake to watch my live. You're so sweet. That was really dumb to try to say that while drinking through a straw. You're so sweet. Thank you. Hello. Hello. How's everyone's weekend? What have you been doing? Yesterday I had to work all day. So I had 6 classes yesterday because I'm a teacher, so I had to teach 6 classes. And then I started, I was really tired yesterday. I drank coffee, and I don't drink coffee usually, or ever. But, more people. I usually don't drink coffee, but I've been drinking mocha all week. And I started slurring my words together yesterday, so I was either like kind of, I felt like I was either drunk or I was having a stroke, and at my age it could be either one, so... But I just went to bed instead, and that was fine. But it was weird because, like, I was so tired that I actually started, like, slurring words to myself in Korean, and I don't speak Korean, so... But I just kept saying, like, 너무 피곤해, 너무 피곤해, like, all for, like, 20 minutes to myself. I had a debate class for 3 hours today, and I had a stomachache while doing so. Ooh, that sounds super stressful. Very stressful. Yeah, debates. Debating is fun with people you care about. Debating sucks with people you don't like. If that makes any sense. And to do it for a class is super stressful, because then there's like people watching you, and you get a grade. I don't know how they grade debate classes. I've never been in one. Do they like grade your argument or grade some sort of strategy? I had a classmate that does like debate competitions and stuff, but it just seems super stressful to me. I've kind of gotten to a point where if I argue with someone, I'll just be like, okay, we disagree, or whatever. And then I just kind of stop caring. But yesterday I worked, then I went to bed, and then today I just watched K-dramas, which I don't usually do that either, so they grade everything. Oh no. That's terrible. That kind of feels like when I have a teaching observation, they'll like watch me very closely, and then they take notes and they question everything I did. So like, why did you say this to the student? Why didn't you say this? Why did you give this example? Why didn't you try this example? Oh, it makes me nervous. So how was the debate? Did it go okay? Did you do well, you think? Or were you just too, like, nervous to even pay attention to what was happening? That's what happens to me. It just becomes a blur if I'm nervous. Let me tell you something. For my first teaching observation, let me tell you a story. For my first teaching observation, this was my first teaching job ever. So before teaching, I worked in IT, and I worked in TV production, and basically anything that had nothing to do with actually talking directly to people. And so, oh, your team won. Oh, good. Congratulations. I give you an A. My grading doesn't matter, but I give you an A. And for my first teaching observation, I had... Who's sending me messages? For my first teaching observation, I had 4 people in my class, and they were all staring at me. And my manager was in the back. And it went very badly, needless to say. And right towards the end, I basically started crying as the teacher in front of the class. And so now I'm just like, well, nothing can go as badly as my first one. So, yeah. We're debating on if disabled people should take the actual role of disabled people in movies. Oh, it's an interesting topic. So, yeah. But after that, my teaching observations have gone fine. So. But I know debating takes a lot of research, I'm sure. Lots of research and a lot of guts, honestly. It just takes guts. I think I would be shaking. We do a lot of semi-debates. So yeah, first tries are always the worst. Always. Always the worst. My classes do some random debates. But I guess you get better. Well, that's the idea. Hopefully you get better. Hopefully you learn. So you have to fail the first few times because you learn more from failure than from success. So if all you do is succeed, you won't learn very much. Ow. Ow. Which, I guess then I'm learning a lot in my classes because I don't feel like I'm being successful at all. Whew. It takes guts not to punch your opponent in the face for roasting you too hard. Yeah. Yeah. That's for sure. My my aunt was telling me that my grandpa on my dad's side, apparently my grandpa on my dad's side was the kind of person that would get into arguments, and if he didn't like what you had to say, he would actually punch you in the mouth. And so my aunt said that when my grandpa was walking down the street, people would cross the street and walk on the other side. And it explains a lot about some of my tendencies. I've never actually punched anybody, but I definitely understand the temptation. But I think being in martial arts helped me with that, because man, I had a lot of anger issues when I was younger. So I was glad that I got into martial arts really early, because then I had things I could punch that wouldn't land me in jail. But usually in Korea, it's interesting to watch people debate in Korea, because in Korea, it's kind of like people care more about community than they do about the winning the argument. And so even if they disagree, they'll end up getting drinks afterwards. And even if they were totally ripping each other to shreds 10 minutes before, they just go out for soju and it's fine. Our school forces us to learn Taekwondo. I learned Taekwondo for 6 months. Not a fan. I'm just not a fan. Not because it's a bad martial art or anything. It's just because it's not a fighting style. It's more of a sport. And I like full contact. I like full contact fighting. I don't like pumse or katas if you are a karate student, because I did both. So I don't like forms. They're not useful in a fight. No matter what my martial arts instructor said, they're not useful. They're good for learning how to focus, and that's about it. That's about it. It's kind of like focus and coordination, I guess. So, I mean, it's not bad, but it doesn't really help in a fight. It doesn't really help, because you need to drill. I mean, there's a lot of debates about whether or not muscle memory is a real thing. I think it is, but you have to drill, because if you're in a fight, you don't have time to think about a technique. Your body just kind of has to know it. So, katas, forms, pumse doesn't teach you drilling well enough. But I did like Taekwondo in the fact that it made me do like full power, full speed, more so than my other styles. So it was, when we did bag practice, it was really rough. Sometimes I'm just wondering why we're doing this. They claim it's to protect ourselves. I don't think Taekwondo is good for protecting yourself. I think it's good for exercise. Definitely good for exercise. Kevin! but Taekwondo is terrible for fighting techniques. Because, I mean, in a real fight, Taekwondo is known for kicking. Kicking's good. Fast kicks are good. But, like, any kicks above the waist kind of leaves you open. If you kick above the waist, it takes more time for your kick to go all the way up, so your opponent has more time to block the kick or counter before the kick even gets all the way up. So, it's better just to punch someone in the face. That's my advice. Just punch them in the face. That stuns them the most. And I know that because I've been punched in the face quite a few times. One time I was doing drills, and I don't know what happened, but I was doing drills, and my partner was like a pretty strong guy. So he was a pretty strong guy, and we were doing the drills, and I was supposed to be blocking like here. And just for a split second, I thought about something else. I wasn't in the game, and so like I didn't bring my hand up, and I got knocked so hard in the jaw, and everything went black. Everything was black. I was still standing, but it was all black. And then I'd like this side of my face, it was bruised, but there was like no bruise mark on the outside, but I couldn't put on like makeup or anything. So I was kind of mad because I feel like if you get injured, you should have like a battle scar so you can show it off and tell a good story. But I couldn't tell a good story because no one could see the pain in my face. Taking into consideration, that's probably what's going to happen when I go back to school. Oh yeah, tomorrow's Monday. I have to go back to school tomorrow too. And I have classes. I have summer classes, and well, I have summer classes as a teacher, and I have summer classes as a student. And I can't keep up with my student classes. I only have one class until July, end of June. Yeah, because I finish it right before my birthday. So I have biblical hermeneutics, which is the history of Bible study. I didn't know it had a history. At least this week was about the history of how people study the Bible. And that's kind of weird. I didn't know that was like a huge... I didn't know that like each generation has a different approach to studying the Bible, and that's how we got to where we are. But apparently my Wi-Fi stinks today. But whole week we have finals. Ew, gross finals. Midterms last week. Yeah, I had finals. I had finals last week. I finished finals on the 7th. I started summer classes on the 10th. So I had like 2 days between semesters. So I feel your pain. I feel your pain. But you probably have more classes than I do, so you're probably in more pain than I was. Because I only take 2 classes at a time. So, my finals, I hated my finals. Here's the thing. So, my undergrad, I mentioned this in a video I did on YouTube recently. So, my undergrad, stop sending me messages. Facebook. My undergrad was in video game design. So for my finals and things like that, all we had to do was like build a game, and that was easy for me. Ironically, writing term papers is not easy for me, even though I write books. Writing books is much easier, but writing term papers is a nightmare, and I hate research. So That didn't go fantastic, but it's done. So science and language arts. Aww. But now I have summer classes. I think, yeah, term papers. I don't like term papers. So I wrote my first term paper 2 weeks ago. Hated it. So stressful. And then one of them was 20 pages and the other one was 16 pages, 15 pages, something like that. On top of writing my book and on top of teaching. So I wonder if I can put this. So trying to work on Gods of the Sea. Oh my gosh, I just want to finish it. I just want to finish it. So one of my coworkers, I introduced my books to him, my first book, my second book that's been published. And he's like, are you working on book number 3 now? And I said, yeah. And that's Gods of the Sea is book number 3. He's like, how long have you been working on it? And I was like, well, that's kind of an interesting question because I started the book before COVID. So I started writing it. When did COVID start? I don't even remember anymore. But I started it before COVID. And then when COVID hit, I didn't want to work on... I got an idea for another book, so I started working on that book while I had time off. I don't know why I just didn't finish Gods of the Sea, but I had this idea and I was like, I need to go with it because I have all the plot points in my head. So I just went with it and I wrote... So I started Gods of the Sea and then I stopped and then I wrote an entire book and then I finished that book and then I came back to Gods of the Sea. 2019? Yeah. What year are we in now? 2021? Is it 21? Yeah, it is 21. Okay. See, I don't know. I'm just living. I don't know the details. All right. Where are you? Ryu, Maria, welcome. So, yep. Time's flying. It does. Yay, waiting for that book too. I got a list. Like, I have an actual list of projects, and I really want to get to them. I really want to finish Gods of the Sea. It's almost finished. Well, the main line is, or the main plot line is almost finished. So I think the last chapter I posted on Wattpad was 44, and I think there's 50 chapters. So, around 50 chapters. So, I mean, it's almost done, the main plot line, and then I have to write the his POV series for all 4 characters. And so, my goal is to try and finish that by the end of summer semester. I don't know why, because I have a lot of homework to do summer semester, so I really shouldn't make that kind of goal, but that's going to be my goal anyways. So, because I want it finished. And then I want to get it ready for publication so I can publish it on time. And then I have another book in the works, The Beast of Napa. And so, The Beast of Napa. And then I just have to edit that one, because that one I actually already wrote. So I just have to edit it and post it. And then I'm trying to decide, because The Beast of Napa is more of a traditional romance, I guess you could say. Beast of Napa is more like kind of a classical romance novel, and then I'm trying to decide if I want to do like another philosophical type story, because I have a couple ideas. I have one idea for a philosophical romantic tragedy. And then I also have a poetry trilogy that I would like to write. So, yeah, I can't decide which one to write after that. I also have a romantic comedy that I would like to write. So I'm kind of fighting between the three. And then I also have a dramatic martial arts fantasy that I'd like to write a series. But I can't figure out which one to write. I have so many options. I actually wrote a rough draft of the martial arts fantasy, and then I decided I hated it. But I do want to write that series, but I want to write it as kind of like not a trilogy, but a kind of, what is it called? It's like a series, but it's like short books. So they're like, it's like 6 or 7 books, but they're all like 150 pages. So something like that. You're so underrated. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, maybe, hopefully someday. Did I say overrated or underrated? I said underrated, right? Well, maybe someday I'll be overrated, and then it'll be full circle. You start underrated, you become rated, and then sooner or later you become overrated, right? That's the circle of life. So I don't know. So you'll have to help me figure out. I was kind of thinking I'd do all kind of the philosophical ones in a row. Because I think my philosophical tragedy will be pretty short. So I don't think it'll take too long. Gods of the Sea is becoming a lot longer than I thought it would be. Because the Rebellion and the Five Princes are only like 95,000 words, maybe? So, 400 pages. And then Gods of the Sea so far is like, hold on, I have it up. Word count, 106,000 words, and I still haven't finished. And I still haven't written his POV. So, yeah, I'm gonna start on his POV pretty quick. But I'm almost to the end of the main storyline. I think it's going pretty well. I got pretty stuck. I usually get stuck on the last 10 chapters because that's when everything has to like come together. And so, and I don't want it to be hollow. Because when you're writing, you can kind of feel when something sucks. So I was writing, like when I was writing the end of the Rebellion, I actually had two other ending drafts that I hated, and I knew that they sucked. And so, there's one point in the Rebellion at the end. Hey, Sydney! There was one point at the end of the Rebellion where I used a secondary character to help the main character escape. In the original draft, what I did is I had the main character like sneak out, and I felt like that was really anticlimactic and kind of weak. So I scrapped the whole thing and I did it again. And so now I'm actually very proud of it, and I think the whole climax scene worked out really well. So I just hated editing it because I prefer working on the romantic scenes more. I need the action scenes for balance, but I prefer working on the romantic scenes. Same when I'm writing my drafts. I'm like, what was I thinking? Yeah. Yeah. And I'm kind of at that stage now with Gods of the Sea, because I'm kind of like trying to play with different ways that I could do the whole like most dramatic part of the story. And so I'm like, so I'm trying to go through different ways, kind of want her to stay with the Sirens, but that's because the wings look cool. Fair. I mean, there will be 4 endings. So, because there's 4 main characters, so there's going to be 4 different endings. So they're all going to be different. Yeah, I've made them completely different. I already know the endings. I don't know the part right before the ending. I don't know the I guess that you could call it if you're a video gamer, the final battle. That's kind of where I get stuck, is the final battle. I know the ending. I know everything up until the final battle, but just like the final battle, to like get it set up correctly. And there's kind of a formula, if you notice, in like movies and stories and things, and there's a bit of a formula for a climax scene. And usually like the formula is this: you have the main character has a plan, or they're going to do something to fight. They have an idea on how they're going to fight the final boss, we'll call it. And so they get to the final boss and their plan fails. And then they come up with another one, and either the plan fails or the plan is successful. But usually the climax scene goes off to battle with a plan, and then plan fails, and then new plan, and then plan is successful. So I love how you made several endings. It's like seeing the big picture and having more than one option. Yeah. Same with life, I think. I mean, sometimes I'm trying to wave. Wave? Okay, don't wave. Fine. I think, what? Stop shaking. Stop. Okay, so I feel like if you're watching a show or a story, or if you're stuck in a love triangle in real life, which, I mean, none of us usually are, but if you are, or if you're like kind of stuck in a fantasy love triangle with the past, I guess you could say. So if you're in a relationship and you're trying to decide between 2 routes, or if you're just trying to decide between 2 routes, you don't even need the relationship. Let's try this again. So maybe you have 2 routes, and you think that one route will be the one that brings you happiness, and the second route will be the one that isn't as good as the first. I feel like it's just not true. Like, if you have 2 routes and you choose one and not the other, it's probably just as good as the one you didn't choose. So, I mean, there was a lot of routes that I wanted to take in real life, and I didn't take them, and I don't regret it, because I like the results I have now. So I feel like in stories, if the main character chooses one person to be with, it's not better or worse than if they chose to be with somebody else. So I like doing the multiple endings because I feel like it shows that no matter what route you take, you can have a happy ending. Your stories are amazing. Well, thank you, crackhead. That's that's your username, but it just felt weird giving you gratitude like that. Just getting kind of watery. So, but yeah, I don't know if Gods of the Sea will be the last multiple ending book I do. I just had thoughts for the trilogy. I've had some other ideas, but none of them for like multiple ending stories, but none of them have really stuck. And I have so many projects that I want to work on. Because I have one rough draft already finished, and then I started a poetry book, which I don't know how it's going to market, to be honest. It's just something I kind of wanted to do for fun. But I had a poetry trilogy set, and I've written like a third of the poetry book number 1. So I want to do that. And I really want to do my martial arts fantasy romance, because it's super dramatic and really angsty, and I'm really excited about it. But then I also have like a couple standalone books that I want to work on, and I just have a list. I have a long list. And there's just not enough energy in the day. I have time, I don't have energy. So usually my days involve me getting up at 7 a.m. and then I clean my apartment in the morning because I don't like cleaning at night. I like cleaning in the morning. I like having a reason to get up. So usually cleaning my apartment and making breakfast and turning on some jazz music and reading some books. I'll tell you what I'm reading in a second. That's kind of my perfect morning. So I try to do like a good mentally energetic, mentally gratifying, I guess you could say, mentally gratifying morning before I go to work. And then I go to work and I spend time with my students and I teach English, and I definitely enjoy teaching. I enjoy teaching. I love my students. I'd do anything for my students. And my students are, I don't know if you guys know this, my students are college age and adults. They're basically all adults. I think my youngest is 17, and then my oldest is 79, maybe. So, yeah, I'm reading The Book Thief. It's very depressing. Oh yeah, I've had that on my reading list for like years, and then I never read it. I don't do well with really sad books. Usually when I try to read, I usually try to read something. Death is the narrator. Ooh, that actually sounds interesting. Do you know Terry Pratchett? Terry Pratchett writes philosophical fantasy, and he's a big influence of mine. And he has a book called The Hogfather. And The Hogfather is about death, the Grim Reaper, taking the place of Santa Claus. So someone wants to get rid of Santa Claus. They have hired a hitman to get rid of Santa Claus, and so the Grim Reaper decides to become Santa Claus to protect him from death. And so it's extremely hilarious and really interesting and very deep philosophically about people's beliefs and why the need to believe in the belief in certain things is necessary. And so loved that book. I read that book every year. And it's not depressing. It's actually more funny than anything. So, but he has a whole series, what's it called? Discworld series. And Death is one of the main characters. Yeah, I definitely recommend him. He wrote some great stuff. Great stuff. So Hogfather, and The Hogfather is my favorite. What's the other one with death? Mort. Mort is good. And Soul. Terry Pratchett, Soul. Terry Pratchett, Soul. Music. Soul Music. That one's good too. And Death has a granddaughter. And she's really cool. She's an amazing character. She's a teacher, but she's kind of a soulless teacher, but she treats her children very well. She just doesn't lie to them at all. She's very honest with all of her students about everything. So she's really fun. I like her. There was a movie too, but I didn't like the movie as much. And I mean, the movie was actually really close to the book, like very, very close. I just don't like movies. So if you like movies, you can check out the Hogfather movie. But I don't really like movies because I don't know. I can't interact with movies. That's my thing. My students have asked me about this too, because I only watch 2 movies a year, and it's because you can't interact with a movie. You can just sit and watch. If you're in the movie industry, you might interact with it a little more because you're watching, like, if you're an actor or if you're a producer or videographer, you're watching, like, different camera angles, you're watching how people act, you're watching maybe things in the background or whatever. Me, I'm a writer, so if I watch a movie, I'm listening to the script, and I'm paying attention to story details, but I can't really, like, interact with it like I can with a book. Because with a book I have to like kind of use my brain and interact back and forth with how are they writing this and analyzing and things like that. So I don't know, I just prefer reading. I guess that's why I'm a writer. But I don't get to read very much these days because of my school books. So I have a 700-page textbook about biblical hermeneutics, which actually is not boring, to say the least. I actually find the history of the Bible very interesting because I was such a skeptic of the Bible for such a long time. And so I had a pastor that I used to harass about why is the Bible accurate and why should we pay attention to it and things like that. And he was really nice, and he went through a whole bunch of historical documents with me and theories and things like that. And that's part of the reason I'm a Christian now. So so I find that very interesting. And Agatha Christie books. Agatha Christie is the #1 most translated author in the world, I believe. Hans Christian Andersen is #4. Those are random facts I know. I taught a class on Hans Christian Andersen, and he was the 4th most translated author in the world. He wrote The Little Mermaid, and he wrote The Princess and the Pea. I think he wrote The Emperor's New Clothes and things like that. And so I had to know who #1 was, and Agatha Christie was #1. #1 most translated author in the world. So I would like to translate my books into Korean because my students are Korean, and a lot of them have asked for that. But that's actually, I don't actually know how to do that. To be honest, I think I have to go through, because if I was a traditional author, my publishing company would take care of it. But since I'm an independent author, I have to look up how to do that. Why am I getting Nightmare Before Christmas vibes with The Hogfather? It's very Nightmare Before Christmas vibes. It is. But I do like The Nightmare Before Christmas too. I thought that was a fun movie. Warriors by Aaron Hunter, Without Dying. Never heard of that. I'm gonna look it up. Let's see. It has 35 books or something in the series. Wow, that's a lot. Good for Aaron Hunter. If you can write 35 books in a series, good job. Oh, is that with the cats? Is that with like the cat gangs? I think if that's the one, then I read the first book. I don't remember it at all. I just remember there were like cat gangs. Oh, this website is interesting. The website. Okay, there we go. Warriors, let the prophecies begin. Oh, okay. I know this series. I only read the first half of the first book. But I know the series. There are a lot of books. Wow. Yeah, cat gangs. Actually one of the first books I read that made me want to become a writer. Actually, the book that made me want to become a writer was Time Cat by Lloyd Alexander. And Time Cat, it was just kind of a lighthearted story about like, gotta leave my dad as mad. Okay, bye. Thanks for coming. There's a book called Time Cat, and the whole story is about when cats disappear, where do they go? And so it turns out that cats go to different dimensions whenever they disappear. And that was the idea of the book. And I really liked that author, and so I decided to buy all of his books, and which I did, and which was really hard because a lot of his books are not in print anymore. And so I bought all of his books, and he's the reason I wanted to become an author. So, but right now I'm reading, where is it? I think it's over here. Right now I'm reading, this book, Mastery. Mastery by Robert Greene. I'm actually a very big Robert Greene fan. I've read his book, Seduction, which is, he's not a psychologist, but he's like he has a degree in classical studies. I don't know what that means, but basically he studies human nature. And so seduction is about different types of seduction historically. Basically, different charms that people have and how they use it to seduce people. So like Marilyn Monroe, she had kind of like an innocent seduction style. And then like Cleopatra, she had more of a bold seduction style. And just like different things that seduce different types of people. And also things that are anti-seductive. So how people charm each other. And then also 48 Rules of Power. That one I really like by Robert Greene. It's huge. You can get a short version like this. This is a good size. But 48 Laws of Power is basically power dynamics within politics or workplaces or even like celebrity, the celebrity world, how everything works on a power structure and how that power structure actually works. And so it talks about things like, I thought the most interesting story was about, I think it was China. And in China, China was broken up into a whole bunch of different kingdoms. And so what would happen is they would put a king in place, and then every 2 years someone would assassinate the king, and then a new king would come, and then they'd assassinate the king, and a new king would come. And so what the king did is he's like, well, I don't want to get assassinated, so what can I do? So he decided to kind of create retirement. So he said, if you work for me for 5 years, I'll give you this benefit. If you work for me for 10 years, I'll give you these benefits. If you work for me for 15 years, I'll give you these benefits. And so he would offer that to all of his people, and he would offer them benefits that they couldn't get at any other job. And they're like, okay, well, we won't assassinate you then. And so, and that's how he became king for a very long time, as opposed to getting assassinated every 2 years like everyone else. So it's just kind of interesting dynamics like that. And then Mastery is a little bit different. Mastery is about how to kind of find your life path and master it. So he talks about like Darwin, how Darwin decided to master what he mastered. And then, welcome back. And then also like, also Mozart. The story, I'm reading the story about Mozart and how he decided to write music the way that he wanted to write music. I think there's actually a fiction book, I can't remember what it's called, but it's about Mozart's sister, because Mozart's sister was actually part of the reason Mozart became a musician, is because his sister was really good at music, and so he decided to do music as well, or his dad decided to do music as well. His dad was really pushing him, and both of his kids, to like make him money, and so, but Mozart had a really good gift for listening and then playing without any practice. So he had like a gift at it. But his dad wanted him to do more traditional music and more like the style of that time, which was usually kind of like happier music. And Mozart didn't want to do that kind of music. He wanted to do more emotional, jarring music. And so it's kind of like, this book talks about like becoming brave enough to do exactly what you want to do, and then how to master whatever it is that you want to master. So you have to become an apprentice, you have to find a mentor, you have to pay attention to social cues and get out of certain situations at certain times. So, welcome, Rititsi. So, I'm taking off the price tag, don't mind me. There's a Korean price tag and it does not need to be on here. And also, I'm reading, I read 2 pages. Started reading this. One of my students recommended it. Has anyone heard of Milan Kundera? Milan Kundera? I haven't. I've never heard of him. Apparently he is a French, Czech novelist. He does philosophical fiction. He was inspired by Nietzsche. Oh my gosh, get off my finger. He was inspired by Nietzsche, and I love Nietzsche. So I decided to pick it up, and it was actually a little difficult to find, but apparently this is based on Nietzsche's idea that everything is a recurrence. Like if you experience one thing, you experience it many times. Yeah, it recurs indefinitely, was Nietzsche's thoughts. I don't know the whole of it. I did just write a term paper about Nietzsche's Twilight of the Idols. It is a 300-word essay, and I wrote 20 pages about that specific essay. And that was not easy. And even the Nietzsche professor at my school basically told me good luck. So that was not easy. Yeah, Mozart's music was very beautiful. Mozart did good music. So I kind of like studying that era of music. It's interesting because there's a book called In Praise of Slowness. Yes, In Praise of Slowness. I don't remember the author's name. But he talks about basically how everyone tries to do things quickly, and how it's actually more mentally beneficial to do things slowly. So to eat slowly is more beneficial. To have slower days is more beneficial. To work less is more beneficial. And they were talking about music, and they were talking specifically about the era of Mozart and things of that sort. And what has happened is the original scores are actually extremely long. So the original scores are usually like 8 to 10 minutes long, kind of like a Tool song. Does anyone know Tool? Is that just my generation? Maybe it's just my generation. But the original songs were extremely long, so there was more build in it. And what's happened over the years is they've actually shortened it, and they've shortened pieces because they want, instead of doing one long emotional piece, they want to do many pieces, kind of give people their money's worth, I guess. But it's very interesting to think that music has been sped up in the pursuit of, I guess, just doing things quickly. So it kind of makes you want to go back and listen to the originals of things. I like studying that era of music a little bit. I like looking at music, I just suck with it. I can't make it. I tried. I mean, I didn't try very hard, but I tried. I do have a piano. I do like playing piano. But I don't like practicing, so I'm pretty terrible. The evolution of music is very interesting. It is. I agree. The evolution of anything is actually pretty interesting. But yeah, music has changed so much. It becomes different every decade. Every decade is a completely different style of music. You can almost tell when you listen to a song. There's a really good channel on YouTube I recommend, Rumi Official. Rumi Official, he's really fun. He goes through different music pieces and things like that. And it's usually modern music, but he goes through different music pieces and kind of analyzes them. Really entertaining. I really like his stuff, so I watch him. So he's also a singer. He's a good singer. So here's a question for you. If you were in a group, say let's do a K-pop group. If you're in a K-pop group, would you be the dancer, the rapper, or the singer? That's my question for you. I could probably sing. I was in church choir. Could probably sing. I would rather be the dancer, but I don't think I have that kind of motivation. I have a really weak body. My body is very sickly all the time. So even just like I would be the singer. Yeah, Singer. I think it would be fun to learn rapping. I think I'd be terrible. I have actually written lyrics for rap songs. They're awful. Let's be honest. They're terrible, but they're really fun to write. And so I kind of want to try rapping, just to try rapping, just to say I tried it. So I can do California Love pretty good. So that's usually not a karaoke number, but I feel like I do pretty well when I'm listening to it. But I think I would break my bones dancing. Yeah. I think I would just collapse. Because I take dance classes now. I take K-pop dance classes. K-pop's so hard, guys. K-pop is so hard. I thought it was kind of like, yeah, I would definitely be Yoongi. I always get to talk that fast sometimes, mostly in my mother tongue. Ah, okay. So you're a fast talker. So. Yep. It's a good choice then. I don't know. I think I would have to be a singer. But I'd rather be a dancer. But I don't think I'm physically capable of it. Just because I get sick too much. But I also get sick a lot with my vocal cords, so I don't know if I'd be a very good singer either, so I don't know. But I'd like to try all three. I think it'd be fun just to like train to be a K-pop star for like a month. Just to like see what would happen. I just want to try it. Just because I like trying things. So I would want to have like a K-pop tutor. Have a tutor and then like have him train me. Would you like many members or less? To be honest, I would less. And probably mixed gender. I don't know if I could handle being in a girl group, to be honest. So, I think girl groups have more drama than boy groups. I mean, boy groups have a lot of drama, but but I feel like I would be the leader in a group, oddly. So, I don't know. If I ever had a career, I'd probably be solo. I'd probably just be solo. I want to be in a group like Blackpink. I miss, what was it, CL? Who sang 4 Minute? 4 Minute. I forget what they're called. I think it was CL. Why? No. Connect back to the internet computer. My computer randomly drops the internet, and I don't know why. Because this is Korea. So the internet should be amazing. And it's not on my computers in my house. CL. Ah, yeah. IU. IU's really cool. Yeah, IU is like a goddess here. Every girl wants to be here and every guy wants to marry her. So, oh no, 4 Minute is the name of the group. I think CL is the one that went solo, right? Yes, 4 Minute. Oh, Crazy. That was the name of the song. For some reason I thought, yeah. 4 Minute. CL. Wait, which one is CL? Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. CL. Oh yeah, CL is a rapper. Yeah, okay. Which group was she part of? Oh, she was part of JYP, right? I thought she was in a group. But yeah. Oh yeah, Mamamoo. Mamamoo is cool. I like Mamamoo. They have multiple like song styles, so I like that. They don't have the same song style. Although I feel like the girl groups, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like the girl groups don't have as much opportunity to write their own music. I feel like the boy groups get more opportunities to write their own music, or the boy groups are just more interested in doing it. I feel like the girl groups don't really get as much. I know IU writes her own stuff. I think most of the solo people write their own stuff, which I commend, because writing your own music is crazy difficult. So I honestly don't think I could write music and lyrics and do all of it. I don't think I could be an all-in-one type of person. I could write lyrics and I could sing, but I can't do anything in between. It's true, most is like that. Okay. I kind of thought so. I kind of feel like, because it's interesting because Blackpink is like on advertisements everywhere here, like everywhere. And so, but I don't hear that much music from them, and I don't feel like they really write anything. I mean, they might have some hand in it, but I feel like they just kind of have songwriters. She writes most of her own parts. Oh, that's cool. Moonbyul writes most of her own parts. That's cool. I like that. I like when they write their own stuff. I mean, singing is hard enough, but I don't know, it just feels more... I feel like the musician is more connected to the music when they write it themselves. And then that makes me more connected to the music and them at the same time. It feels weird if there's like a third party that wrote the music and I don't know that third party, but I'm listening to the singer, and I just feel like there's kind of a disconnect. Because they're just... they mostly only perform. Yeah, performing is really difficult though. I'll give them that. I don't sneeze at all at performing, because in my dance classes we record every week, and I suck. So performing is not easy. And I know a lot of like mainstream artists in America, they don't write their own music either. They're just performers. They stick mostly to performing, and then they kind of dabble in writing their own music, but they're more busy. They're busier performing. So I get it. I get it. Me, myself, I write books, and I feel like I do fairly well, but then I fail at marketing hard. So my goal within this year, the rest of the year, is to really focus on marketing. I was actually listening to an interview with Jordan Peterson before doing my live stream, and he was talking about like he thought that if you had a product and the product was good, it would sell itself. And so he thought like 95% of selling something was having a good product, but then he realized that having a good product is only like 15%. Really, marketing is what carries it. So I gotta learn marketing, guys. I have to learn. I don't want to learn though. I'm learning too many things. I'm hitting my learning capacities. But marketing and advertising are very important, so I gotta learn how to do it. Gotta stock up on those YouTube videos and learn. But I also have to do my philosophy homework and my theology homework and prepare for my classes that I teach. And I'm trying to learn Korean because I live here, and I've lived here for 4 years, and I still can't make a sentence very well. But I am trying to learn because I feel like it's the right thing to do. And I think eventually I would like to get citizenship here. So I have to be able to pass a Korean speaking test to do so. So we do a lot of marketing in school, as it's an economic school. Oh, I didn't know there was economic schools. That's pretty cool. Or boring if you hate economics, but I feel like that could be a good thing. Or maybe your major's economics, or you're going to major in economics. Yeah, marketing's pretty important. Marketing is a form of communication. So you're communicating about your products and trying to meet the needs people have or didn't know that they have. So, not an easy thing to do. Not an easy thing to do. So, I gotta figure that out too. There's just not enough time in the day. But I probably won't be able to sleep because I drank coffee so late. I should probably work on my paper. That would be the smart thing to do with my time. Well, it's so it can get boring as it's a lot of information. Yeah, economy is a lot of info. Yeah, I feel like philosophy has a lot of info too. I can't process it all. Even my hermeneutics class, I can't process it all. There's only so much I can process and remember. And a lot of it, like, I feel like I can't apply it anywhere. So I'm not sure how I'm supposed to apply the hermeneutics of the, middle century or whatever. So I don't know how to apply it, so I don't know how to remember it, and I don't know how to use it. So it's much easier to process things that you use and understand. Well, things that you use. So, well, I think it is time for me to jump off. But this was fun. I had a lot of more people show up than I expected, so that was great. So, it's good hanging with you guys. Hopefully I can do this more often. And I feel like Sunday is a good time. So maybe later at night or earlier in the day or something. I can do Sundays. Because usually I work on Saturdays, so I'm too tired to go anywhere on Sundays. So just hang out at home, hang out with you guys. Might be a good way to end my week. So, but I guess I will talk to you guys later. See you again soon. Thanks for hanging with me. Let's hang again more. I need to think of some topics. Send me some topics on what we should talk about and hang out and do. DM me and we'll talk about it. We'll have fun. All right. Well, I will see you guys later. Enjoy your week. Peace out.